Shalom, I'm Ezra Solomon. You've been lied to about prosperity. They told you to manifest it, attract it, visualize it. But Hebrew wisdom reveals something harder. Prosperity isn't about what you attract, it's about who you become. Today, I'm showing you the ancient discipline of alignment that modern comfort seekers refuse to practice. Let me be direct with you about something that's keeping you stuck. Modern culture has sold you a comfortable lie about prosperity, and you've bought it because it requires nothing from you except good feelings and positive thoughts. You've been told that prosperity is about energy, vibrations, and manifestation. That if you just think the right thoughts, feel the right feelings, and visualize abundance, it will flow to you. You've been promised that prosperity is your birthright, that you just need to open yourself up to receiving it. This is exactly why you're not prospering. Because this entire framework separates prosperity from the one thing that actually creates it, your character. It divorces abundance from discipline. It disconnects wealth from worthiness. Not worthiness in some cosmic sense, but worthiness in the practical sense of being capable of stewarding what you receive. I see this pattern constantly, people chasing abundance while avoiding the internal work. They want the overflow without building the container. They want the blessing without the character transformation that makes them capable of handling it. Here's what happens. You focus all your energy on attracting prosperity, affirmations, vision boards, abundance meditations. Meanwhile, your actual conduct remains undisciplined. Your thinking stays muddled. Your character stays weak. And when opportunity does come, when money does flow, you're not ready for it. You mismanage it. You squander it. You let it destroy you. Because prosperity without character isn't a blessing. It's a burden. It's gasoline poured on a fire of unresolved greed, ego, and lack of self-control. The modern prosperity gospel, whether spiritual or secular, tells you that you just need to want it more, believe harder, clear your blocks. But it never asks you to build anything. It never demands discipline. It never requires you to confront your Yetzer Hara, your destructive inclinations. It never insists that you become someone different. And that's why it fails. That's why people can read 100 abundance books, attend 1,000 seminars, practice manifestation for years, and still remain fundamentally misaligned with actual prosperity. Your character determines your capacity to receive and maintain prosperity. Not your affirmations, not your vision board, your actual conduct, your discipline, your alignment with principle. The ancient Jews understood something radically different about prosperity, something that requires more from you than comfort-seeking culture wants to demand, something that actually works. Let me show you what they knew. In Deuteronomy, the Torah teaches something that makes modern prosperity teachers deeply uncomfortable. Blessing follows obedience. Prosperity follows alignment with principle, not the other way around. Let me introduce you to a Hebrew concept that changes everything, hatzlacha. This word gets translated as success or prosperity, but it means something much deeper. It means alignment with purpose. It means moving in the direction you were designed to move, with character that matches your calling. This is radically different from modern abundance thinking. Modern prosperity says, get more, have more, accumulate more. Hebrew prosperity says, become aligned, become worthy of stewarding what you receive, become the person who can handle abundance without being destroyed by it. Here's the critical distinction. Modern prosperity is about getting. Hebrew prosperity is about becoming. You don't attract prosperity in Jewish wisdom. You build the character that creates alignment, and prosperity flows through that alignment, not to you, through you, because you're not the destination, you're the steward. The Talmud teaches that the more possessions a person has, the more anxiety they have, unless their character grows proportionally with their wealth. This is why lottery winners often end up bankrupt and miserable. This is why inherited wealth frequently destroys the next generation. This is why rapid success without character development leads to spectacular collapse. The container wasn't built, the character wasn't refined, the alignment wasn't established. Pirkei Avot asks, "Who is rich?" and answers, "One who is satisfied with their portion." Now, modern readers misunderstand this as settling, as lowering your standards, as making peace with mediocrity. That's not what it means. It means you've done the internal work to align your desires with your purpose. It means you're not driven by comparison, by ego, by the endless grasping of the undisciplined mind. It means you've built the character to be genuinely satisfied because your life is aligned with principle. From my background in psychology, I can tell you the research backs this completely. Self-efficacy, earned confidence through competent action, predicts sustainable success far better than positive thinking. Value-aligned goals create lasting fulfillment. Purpose-driven behavior generates resilience. The lottery winner syndrome isn't just about poor financial planning. It's about the mismatch between character and capacity. The person hasn't earned the internal strength to handle external abundance. You don't attract prosperity. You build the character that can steward it, and that requires discipline most people refuse to embrace. From my background in psychology and Torah study, I've identified the exact framework for prosperity alignment. This isn't theory. This is the practical discipline that creates the internal transformation necessary for external abundance. Let me introduce you to Tikkun Midot, the practice of character refinement. In Jewish tradition, this is the systematic work of building your character trait by trait, confronting your weaknesses, strengthening your capacities. This is the path to prosperity alignment. Here's the framework. 3 disciplines that must be practiced daily if you want true Hatzlacha. First, ethical discipline. Your conduct must align with principle before prosperity can align with you. This means you stop cutting corners. You stop justifying unethical shortcuts because everyone does it, or "I need to survive." You start making decisions based on integrity, even when it costs you in the short term. Because here's what you need to understand. Every time you violate your own principles for gain, you create misalignment. You train yourself that prosperity comes through compromise, and that pattern will destroy you when real abundance arrives. You'll compromise bigger, cut deeper corners, and eventually collapse under the weight of your own lack of integrity. Second, mental clarity. You need absolute clarity about what prosperity actually serves. Is it feeding your ego? Is it about comparison with others? Is it about proving something to people who hurt you? Or is it genuinely about purpose, about service, about stewarding resources for meaningful impact? Most people can't answer this honestly. They want prosperity, but they've never examined why. And that lack of clarity creates misalignment. You're chasing something without knowing what you'll do with it when you get it. Third, stewardship strength. This is your capacity to handle abundance responsibly, to make wise decisions with resources, to delay gratification, to invest for the long term, to give generously, to maintain discipline even when you have enough that discipline seems unnecessary. Why does this framework work psychologically? Because it builds internal locus of control. It creates competence-based confidence. It aligns your goals with your values, which generates sustainable motivation and resilience. Here's the uncomfortable truth that stops most people. You're probably not ready for the prosperity you claim to want. Your character hasn't been refined enough. Your conduct isn't aligned enough. Your capacity to steward hasn't been built enough. And no amount of manifestation practice will fix that. Only discipline will. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I worked with a man named David who was obsessed with scaling his business to 8 figures. Everything was about growth, expansion, revenue. He came to me because he'd hit a ceiling he couldn't break through, and he thought he needed better mindset work, better manifestation techniques. What he actually needed was character transformation. David was stuck in a pattern. He'd grow revenue, then hit a crisis. Team turnover, client problems, cash flow disasters. He'd stabilize, grow again, hit another crisis. The cycle repeated for years. Here was his crisis of character. He was cutting ethical corners to fuel growth, overpromising to clients, burning out his team with unrealistic demands, manipulating numbers to look better to investors, sacrificing his family because just one more year of grinding, then I'll have the breakthrough. He believed the comfortable lie. Once I hit my revenue goal, then I'll focus on balance and integrity. First, I need to succeed, then I can afford to be ethical. I confronted him directly. David, prosperity follows alignment, not the other way around. You're building on a foundation of misalignment, and it will collapse no matter how high you build. He resisted. Ezra, I can't slow down now. The market won't wait. My competitors aren't playing nice. I need to push harder to break through. This is where Tikkun Midot began. I introduced him to Cheshbon Hanefesh, daily moral inventory, accounting of the soul. Every morning, he had to review his conduct from the previous day. Where did he act from principle? Where did he compromise? Where did greed or ego drive his decisions? The first 2 weeks were brutal for him. He had to confront how far his actual conduct had drifted from his stated values. It was uncomfortable. He wanted to quit, but he stayed with the practice, and slowly things shifted. Month 1, he started making ethical business decisions even when they cost him short term. He lost some revenue. It scared him. Month 3, he'd rebuilt his team culture around principled conduct. He lost some clients who wanted him to cut corners. His revenue dipped. Month 6, the business stabilized. Better margins, better team, better clients who valued integrity. Month 12, his revenue exceeded his previous peak. But this time, with peace, with sustainability, with alignment. He told me, Ezra, I wasn't ready for prosperity before. I was just ready to be destroyed by it. Character capacity determines prosperity sustainability. Let me show you the internal enemy that's keeping you misaligned. In Jewish wisdom, we call it the Yetzer Hara, your evil inclination, your destructive impulse. It's the voice inside you that pulls you away from your higher self, away from discipline, away from alignment. And when it comes to prosperity, the Yetzer Hara has a specific voice. It whispers, more is always better. More money, more status, more stuff. You need more to be safe, to be respected, to be happy. More. It never asks why. It never examines what the more is actually for. It just creates an endless hunger that can never be satisfied. Let me show you how this manifests in your actual life. Greed disguised as ambition. You tell yourself you're driven, but really you're just grasping. Status seeking disguised as success. You tell yourself you want to achieve, but really you just want to be seen as superior. Hoarding disguised as security. You tell yourself you're being responsible, but really you're operating from fear and scarcity. Comparison disguised as motivation. You tell yourself competition drives you, but really you're just miserable because someone else has more. The Talmud understood this deeply. It teaches that the more possessions a person accumulates, the more anxiety they experience, unless their character grows proportionally with their wealth. because possessions without character create burden, not blessing. Modern prosperity teaching feeds your Yetzer Hara while calling it abundance mindset. It tells you to want more, expect more, demand more from the universe. It never asks you to examine whether that wanting is aligned with your actual purpose and values. This is why modern approaches fail. They give the destructive inclination a spiritual vocabulary. They baptize greed in the language of manifestation. What's required is gevura, strength, discipline, restraint. This is the capacity to say no to misaligned opportunities, even when they're profitable, to say no to your own grasping impulse, to say no to the voice that says more is always better. Here's what I need you to hear. Your Yetzer Hara will tell you this teaching is limiting you. It will say, I'm trying to keep you small, keep you from abundance. That voice is lying to you. That voice is what's actually keeping you stuck in misalignment. Gevura isn't about limitation. It's about direction. It's about saying no to what misaligns you so you can say yes to what actually serves your purpose. That requires discipline your comfort-seeking culture never demands. Let me tell you about Rachel, who inherited significant wealth at 28. Family money, generations of accumulation, no financial struggle in her entire life. From the outside, she had everything. From the inside, she was falling apart. She came to me in her early 30s, deeply depressed despite abundant resources. She felt completely unworthy of what she had. She was squandering money on distractions, endless travel, shopping, trying to fill a void she couldn't name. She had no direction, no purpose, no sense of herself beyond the one with the trust fund. Here's what broke my heart. She felt guilty about her struggle. I have everything. I should be grateful. What's wrong with me? Nothing was wrong with her. Everything was wrong with her situation. She had prosperity without having built any character to steward it. She had the overflow without the container. Therapy had helped her understand the problem. Self-help books had given her platitudes, but nothing had given her the actual practice of transformation. I introduced her to Musar, the Jewish practice of ethical discipline and character development. And I gave her a hard prescription. She had to earn her alignment through service and character building. She resisted immediately. But Ezra, I already have the money. Why do I need to build discipline? Isn't that backward? I told her directly. Because prosperity without character is a burden, not a blessing. You inherited money. Now you need to earn the character to steward it properly. The practice was specific. Daily Musar study focused on humility and generosity, 20 hours per week volunteering in meaningful service, a strict budget as if she had to earn every dollar, and daily tracking of character growth, not bank account balance. The first 2 months were deeply uncomfortable, but for the first time in years, she felt purposeful. Month 3 through 6, she discovered a genuine calling in education nonprofit work. She started directing her wealth strategically toward that mission. Month 9 through 12, something shifted. She was living with purpose. Her prosperity was serving her values instead of haunting her with guilt and emptiness. 18 months in, she told me, I inherited money, but I had to earn the character to steward it properly. The money was always there. I'm what changed. This is what modern prosperity teaching misses entirely. The external abundance means nothing if the internal alignment isn't built. You can have everything and still be misaligned, or you can have less and be truly prosperous. Character precedes capacity. Here's exactly what you need to do starting tomorrow. This is the practical framework for building prosperity alignment through daily discipline. 5 practices, non-negotiable if you're serious about Hatzlaka. First, morning Cheshbon Hanefesh, soul accounting, 10 minutes every morning before you do anything else. You review your conduct from yesterday. Where did you act from principle? Where did you act from impulse, greed, ego? Where did you compromise your values for gain? Where did comparison drive you instead of purpose? Then you set your character intention for today. One specific trait you're working to strengthen. Second, ethical decision filter throughout your entire day. Before any financial or business decision, you pause and ask, does this align with my values? You practice emet, truth, integrity, even when it costs you. You choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Every single time. This is how you build confidence through principled conduct, not through affirmations, through action. Third, gratitude with purpose reflection at midday, but not the shallow gratitude practice you've been taught, not just, I'm grateful for my house, my health, my job. That's fine, but it's not enough. You go deeper. This abundance allows me to. You connect your prosperity to service and mission. You distinguish between what you have and who you're becoming. You remind yourself that you're a steward, not just an accumulator. Fourth, daily restraint practice, gevura, discipline. You say no to at least one misaligned opportunity every single day, something profitable, something tempting, something easy, but misaligned with your values and purpose. You practice delayed gratification on one purchase or decision. You're building the muscle of discipline through controlled denial. This is uncomfortable. That's the point. Fifth, evening review and adjustment. 10 minutes before sleep, you journal. Where did I stay aligned today? Where did my Yetzer Hara win? What character quality needs strengthening tomorrow? You commit to the next day's discipline. Why does this framework work? Because internal transformation creates external alignment. You're not trying to attract prosperity anymore. You're becoming the person prosperity can flow through safely. You're building the character that can steward abundance without being destroyed by it. The psychology is clear. Value-congruent behavior increases self-efficacy, which predicts sustainable success. Purpose-driven action creates resilience and fulfillment. This isn't about perfection. You'll fail sometimes. The practice is returning to alignment daily, not achieving it once and maintaining it effortlessly. Discipline creates alignment. Alignment creates capacity. Capacity allows prosperity. I know you're thinking, Ezra, this sounds like I have to become perfect before I can prosper, like I need to fix everything about myself before I'm allowed to have abundance. And I understand that concern. It can feel overwhelming when you look at the gap between your current character and the person you need to become. But listen carefully. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's not about fixing everything before prosperity can come. It's about building character alongside building prosperity, not waiting until you're perfect to start. I also know some of you are thinking, what if I need money now? I can't wait for character transformation. I have bills, responsibilities, urgent needs. Here's the hard truth. That urgency is exactly why you're not aligned. Desperation creates misalignment. When you're desperate, you make compromised decisions. You cut corners. You violate your own principles because I have no choice. That desperation is your Yetzer Hara convincing you that the ends justify the means. Discipline creates capacity, not desperation. Let me recap the core principle. Hebrew prosperity, Hatzlaka, is alignment of character with purpose. It's not accumulation. You don't attract prosperity through manifestation and positive thinking. You build the character that can steward it responsibly. Tikkun midot, character refinement, must precede or accompany material increase. The Yetzer Hara of greed keeps you grasping and misaligned. Gevurah, discipline and restraint, creates the alignment that allows true prosperity. 3 immediate actions for tomorrow. First, start your morning Cheshbon Hanefesh practice. 10 minutes of honest soul accounting. Where did you compromise yesterday? What character trait needs work today? Second, before any money decision today, ask yourself, does this align with my values and purpose? Not, can I afford it? Not, will this make me happy? But is this aligned? Third, practice saying no to one misaligned opportunity today, even if it's profitable, even if it's tempting. Tell me in the comments, what's the biggest gap between your current character and the prosperity you want? Where do you need to build alignment? Be honest. This is where the work begins. I want you to commit to practicing these 5 daily disciplines for 30 days straight. Track your character growth, not your bank account. Comment below, I'm committed, so I can hold you accountable. If this challenged your understanding of prosperity, subscribe. Next week, I'm teaching the ancient Jewish framework for mental clarity in decision-making, Bina, the discipline of understanding that cuts through confusion. Remember, prosperity isn't about what you attract. It's about who you become. Build the character. The alignment follows. Shalom.